Welcome to my favourite doubleheader in Formula 1. We've just wrapped up Belgium, and now we're heading straight into Hungary. And this weekend is massive for upgrade. We're talking about not one, but potentially two B-spec cars arriving at Hungary. Aston Martin's complete redesign that's been months in the making, McLaren changing their entire development direction, and Ferrari bringing that high downforce version of that Macarena wing we've been talking about. This is judgment day for something. Let's break down every single upgrade coming to Budapest.
All right, so look, I'm genuinely excited for this weekend because we're finally going to see if Aston Martin's strategy of skipping upgrades for months actually pays off. I've been skeptical, honestly. When a team tells you they're banking everything on one massive package, that's either genius or desperation. And with Aston Martin being 4 to 5 seconds off the pace, it feels more like desperation. But Newey doesn't mess around, so maybe I'm wrong. We'll find out on Thursday when those cars hit the track. All right, now let's talk about Red Bull and Mercedes, because even though they're not bringing massive packages, what they are bringing tells you something about where they're at. Red Bull, the rotisserie wing is back. They skipped it in Belgium, and I think that cost them. They finished on the podium, sure, but they could have won if they'd had the drag reduction available on the straights. Max was fast, the car had pace, but without that wing mechanism, they were just slightly off Mercedes and Ferrari. The bigger problem for Red Bull, though, isn't the wing, it's the tyres. They've been struggling with tyre warm-up on the harder compounds. They're in this weird cold window where they have very little grip compared to the top teams, and Hungary's going to expose that massively, because if you can't get temperature into the tyres through all those medium speed corners, you're going to be sliding around all weekend. The rotisserie wing helps with balance, lets them run more downforce without the drag penalty, but it doesn't fix the fundamental tyre issue. I think Red Bull's in trouble, honestly. They started the season strong, but Ferrari and Mercedes have both brought significant upgrades, and Red Bull's development has been slower. They're still a top team, still capable of podiums, but I don't see them winning Hungary unless something weird happens with strategy or reliability. Mercedes, small tweaks only, front wing update in Belgium, minor stuff on the footplate, but the major package got delayed until Zandvoort after the summer break. And you know what? Mercedes can afford to wait. They've been the fastest car at most tracks this season. The W17 is a monster. The engine is untouchable. Battery deployment is better than everyone, including McLaren, who's still fighting that gear ratio issue. Mercedes has been messing with the engine cover, reducing cooling to shed drag. But fundamentally, they don't need a huge upgrade to stay ahead. Ferrari's closing the chassis gap, which is legit, but Mercedes still has the power advantage. So they're being smart. Delay the package, refine it over the break, bring it to Zandvoort when it's perfect. That's championship winning thinking. Don't rush, don't panic, just execute. I think Mercedes wins Hungary, I really do. The Hungaroring rewards mechanical grip and aero efficiency, and the W17 has both in spades. Unless Ferrari's Macarena wing is a game changer, which brings me to my next point. Ferrari. High downforce, Macarena wing evolution. So Ferrari's not bringing a structural update. They've already done heavy development on the SF26 all season. Front wing, floor side pods. But for Hungary specifically, they're bringing a new version of the rotisserie wing designed for maximum downforce. The key thing here is the hanger flaps. Extra aerodynamic elements that increase rear load. This is directly copied from what Mercedes has been running since pre-season testing. And I think that's smart. There's no shame in copying a good idea, especially when it's legal and it works. Why does this matter for Hungary? Because the Hungaroring is the second slowest track on the calendar after Monaco. Endless medium speed corners, almost no straights where you actually need to shed drag. So Ferrari's optimizing the wing for pure downforce, not efficiency. The hanger flaps add rear stability through the technical middle sector, which is where you win or lose at Hungary. Here's the interesting part though. This upgrade is entirely specific to the SF26 this season. It's not carrying over into 2027. Ferrari's spending budget on highly specialized track-specific solutions. That tells me they're playing the short game. They want wins now, and if that means building a Hungary-only rear wing, they'll do it. I respect that approach. Some teams play it safe, bank everything for next year. Ferrari's saying, no, we're fighting for this championship and we're going to maximize every opportunity. The big package is still coming at Zandvoort. But for this weekend, it's all about that Macarena wing. Do I think it's enough to beat Mercedes? Honestly, probably not. Mercedes is just too strong right now, but Ferrari should be close. And if Mercedes has any kind of setup issue or tyre problem, Ferrari's there to capitalise. That's all you can ask for. Now McLaren, this is fascinating because it's not a B-spec, but it's close. Andrea Stella called it a development redirection. They're shifting their entire aerodynamic philosophy mid-season. The core of the package is a redesigned floor, but there are other aero parts McLaren's keeping quiet about. Stella's been really open about this. He said it took a couple of months to realise the new direction and get the parts made. So basically, McLaren's been developing in the wrong direction for 2 to 3 months, realised it, course corrected, and this is the first package from that new philosophy. That's a massive admission. Most teams would never say that publicly, but I think Stella's smart to be transparent because it manages expectations. If the package doesn't work immediately, he's already told everyone this is a direction change that will develop over multiple races. The problem McLaren's had all season is consistency. Some tracks they're right behind Mercedes, other tracks they're fighting in the midfield with Ferrari and Red Bull. They've blamed the gear ratio issue which limits straight line speed. But Stella's making it clear fixing the aero and mechanical grip comes first. Hungary's the perfect test for this new philosophy. It's an aero track. Slow speed, high downforce, mechanical grip through tight corners. If the new floor works here, it validates everything. And they're also testing their version of the Macarena wing. Finally. McLaren's been developing it for months, and this is where it gets track time. Here's my take. I think the package will work. Maybe not immediately, maybe not to the level where they're fighting Mercedes this weekend, but I think McLaren's technical team is strong enough to have identified the right direction. Stella's not someone who panics or makes rash decisions. If he's saying this is a redirection, I believe him. The risk is that if it doesn't work, they've lost months of development and burned budget on parts they'll scrap. But you have to take risks in F1. Playing it safe gets you stuck in the midfield forever. All right, so that's every team's upgrade picture. 2 potential B specs. McLaren changing direction. Ferrari bringing a Hungary-specific Macarena wing. Red Bull trying to solve tyre issues. Mercedes waiting for Zandvoort. The story is Aston Martin. 30 kilos lighter, completely new front end, 90 points of downforce, not enough spare parts. This is their moment. Months of development. Everything riding on one package. If it works, they're back. If it doesn't, the season's over and people are losing jobs. Hungary's always been an aero track. It rewards teams that nail the setup, maximize mechanical grip, get temperature into the tyres. This weekend shows us which teams understand the 2026 regs and which teams have been developing in the wrong direction. My predictions: Mercedes wins, Ferrari's close, but not close enough. McLaren's new package shows promise, but needs more development. Red Bull struggles with tyre temps. Aston Martin's faster, but not fast enough to fight for points yet. But I've been wrong before. And I hope I'm wrong about Aston Martin, because a 3-second gain would be incredible to witness. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Aston's B-spec delivers? Will McLaren's direction change work? Can Ferrari's Macarena wing beat Mercedes?